In this video, we'll have a look at locations around the world you should never visit. The whole thought of top secret locations fills us with a thrill. Did you even know about these places? I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's look at these destinations and what they're all about. Enjoy the video. Snake Island. The island of Ilha de Coimada Grande off the coast of Brazil is home to a rare and very venomous species of lancehead viper. Only hardy scientists and insane adventurers dare to set foot on the earth of this Ophioidiophobic's image of hell. Snake Island is home to a large population of golden lancehead pit vipers, which are among the world's most deadly snakes. Because the golden lancehead could only be found on this one island, it's naturally protective of its domain. Its venom is 5 times more potent than that of its cousin, the furdilance, which is responsible for more snakebite deaths in South America than any other species. It takes a lot of commitment just to get to the island, which is around 45 hectares in size. A 30-kilometer stretch of turbulent water must first be crossed from the coast of the Brazilian state of Sao Paulo, and only a few local sea captains are ready to make the journey. There is no beach on the island, and access is through a steep, rocky slope covered in hand-mincing barnacles. All of this is a bit of a moot point given that the Brazilian Navy officially prohibits people from landing there in the first place. Only certified scientists are given special permission to visit on occasion. At least 5,000 snakes writhe throughout the place, with conservative estimates indicating 1 for every square meter. They've even taken over a now defunct lighthouse. Being a lighthouse keeper was undoubtedly one of the worst occupations in the world. According to legend, the last keeper and his family resided there until snakes infested their cottage. As they attempted to leave, vipers dangling from overhanging tree branches snatched them one by one. Whether it's a myth or not, best advice is to leave their home just as it is, a hidden serpentine paradise. UN Buffer Zone, Cypress. A watchtower stands guard behind barbed wire gates, peering down on a tense landscape below it. It's possible to find a dusty airport with old planes rotting on the runways and nearby abandoned homes, businesses, cars, and buildings that have lain inactive for decades. It runs through Cyprus, separating the sovereign Republic of Cyprus from the Turkish-controlled northern half of the island, and is designated as a UN buffer zone. In 1974, Turkish troops invaded Cyprus, escalating the civil war between Greeks and Turks, further destabilizing the island. Following the declaration of a ceasefire, the United Nations was tasked with overseeing the buffer zone in Nicosia's capital. Peacekeepers from the United Nations have been patrolling the buffer zone for years in an attempt to avert future clashes between the population of the two halves of the island, which have been at odds for decades. As a result, this zone has been frozen in time and no one is permitted to enter it. Even if they did, they would not survive their ordeal. Surtsey. Surtsey in the northern Atlantic is one of the world's newest places, having risen from the sea during an underwater volcanic eruption that lasted from 1963 to 1967. The area was swiftly named a nature reserve, and only a tiny group of approved scientists have ever been permitted to land there to observe how life on Earth evolves naturally. The little island is located about 20 kilometers south of Hemi, the largest of the Westman Islands. On November 14, 1963, the first signs of a volcanic eruption occurred when fluctuations in the surrounding water temperature, an erupting plume of smoke, and the smell of hydrogen sulfide were all noted. The eruption, however, is suspected to have started several days earlier, 130 meters beneath the water. Surtsey had been grown to a size of 2.7 square kilometers, 1 square mile, by the time the eruptions ended in June 1967. The wind-battered island is unlikely to be restored to the sea before 2100 at the earliest, and it may exist for centuries longer. However, the Atlantic waves quickly eroded 2 smaller sister islands that emerged during the first eruption. Landing on the island is absolutely prohibited unless you're a scientist with a permit from the Surtsey Research Society, which oversees all activity on behalf of the Icelandic Environment and Food Agency. It's forbidden to dive in the island's vicinity as well to alter any of its natural features, introduce any species, soils, or minerals, or leave any garbage. Discharging a firearm within 2 kilometers, 1.2 miles of the coast, is likewise prohibited. In 2008, UNESCO included the island to its list of World Heritage Sites. By 2004, the island had 69 vascular plants, 71 lichens, 24 fungus, 14 bird species, and 335 invertebrates. A golden plover was discovered nesting on the island in 2009, making it the first wading bird to do so. North Sentinel Island, India. The Andaman Chain's North Sentinel Island, home to the Sentinelese tribe, is one of the world's prohibited islands. To protect their solitude, the individuals who live on the island frequently resort to violence. For over 50,000 years, the Sentinelese tribes has resided on the island under the protection of the Indian government. This territory is off limits to all tourists and is one of the most dangerous and forbidden places on the planet. Why? Because the inhabitants execute anybody who wants to land on their island. Sundar Raj and Pandit Tiwari, two Indian fishermen who were fishing illegally in forbidden seas when their boat wandered too close to the island in January 2006, were slain by the Sentinelese when their boat drifted too close to the island. There were no criminal charges brought against anyone. In November 2018, John Allen Chow, a 26-year-old United States missionary educated and dispatched by the Missouri-based missionary organization All Nations, was slain on an unlawful voyage to the restricted island with the intention of preaching Christianity to the Sentinelese people. 7 people were hauled into jail by Indian authorities on suspicion of assisting Chow in his unlawful entry into the country. According to Indian legislation, entering a radius of 5 nautical miles around the island is prohibited. Fishermen reported to police that they had witnessed the tribespeople carrying Chow's body around, but the authorities were unable to independently verify his death as of November 25, 2018, according to the FBI. Although the matter is being regarded as a homicide, there has been no indication that the tribesmen would be charged. Because he had been shot at by an islander with a bow and arrow on a prior attempted visit, Chow's journal suggested he was well aware of the dangers he was in, as well as the fact that his excursions to the island were prohibited. Chow wrote the following in a final note to his family, which was sent through the fishermen. "You guys might think I'm crazy and all this, but I think it's worthwhile to declare Jesus to these people. Please do not be angry at them or at God if I get killed." Well, we suppose that's what happens when you disregard laws and try to teach people that your way is the only right way. Area 51. Area 51, a highly restricted, isolated military station located deep in the heart of the inhospitable Nevada desert, is so well known that it's impossible not to have heard of the conspiracy theories surrounding it. There are stories of helicopters monitoring the perimeter of Area 51 if you approach even close to the heavily guarded base, which is absolutely off limits to the public. Conspiracy theorists are adamant in their belief that Area 51's true purpose is the storage and inspection of alien spacecraft or the holding of secret meetings with extraterrestrials. Area 51 is most famously associated with the 1947 Roswell incident, in which hundreds of people witnessed an unidentified flying disc crash on a ranch in Nevada, leading to the discovery of Area 51. Government personnel were able to recover and transfer the UFO in a short amount of time. Many people believe that the Roswell incident was in actuality a government cover-up of an alien spaceship crash, and that the UFO was hidden in Area 51. This is a controversial theory. A true purpose for Area 51's existence is still secret, and it's still classified as such. Attempting to enter would be unwise, though, because it is surrounded by signs warning that security officers are permitted to use lethal force against those who persist in trespassing on the premises. Regardless of whether you believe in extraterrestrials or not, the question remains, what secrets are they keeping hidden in there? Google data center, the Dahlias. Google is one of the world's most successful internet corporations, contributing to the development of contemporary culture and earning enormous profits. As the owners of what is perhaps the world's most popular search engine, the company relies on massive clusters of computer servers to keep things running smoothly. Its massive data center in the Dahlias, Oregon, was constructed in complete secrecy at a cost of $600 million and completed in 2006. In order to build its first custom-designed facility, Google chose a location on the Columbia River near the Dahlias Dam that provided not only suitable land on which to build and a local population to work there. Google currently employs approximately 200 people, but also the possibility of abundant and environmentally friendly hydroelectric electricity. Considering that a corporation the size of Google necessarily consumes vast amounts of electricity, the opportunity to develop a more ecologically friendly facility fell in perfectly with the company's stated slogan, "Don't be evil." When it first opened, the data center, nicknamed Project O2, was cloaked in secrecy. Even visiting journalists had to sign confidentiality agreements before entering. Despite the fact that the level of secrecy has since decreased, the security of the site itself, as well as the material it holds, continues to be of paramount importance. When it comes to ensuring the integrity of electronically stored information, a full-time information security team is on hand, and the center itself is surrounded by a perimeter fence that's patrolled by guards and continually under closed-circuit monitoring. While Google aspires to make the world's information widely available, it does not appear to have similar aspirations for its own data centers in the United States. What's your take on these locations? Which one would you visit if you were ever afforded the opportunity?